right. All right, everyone. How's everyone doing? Welcome. Herbalist Lounge December. Breathe easy is a topic we're bringing to the people.
Mhm.
Right. So if this is your first time to the Herbalist Lounge, we ask that you please mute your mic when you are not speaking, just to eliminate the background noise. But by all means, feel free to chime in at any time. Okay. This is a cipher. We come in to build, to share our experiences. So we're looking forward to everyone adding to the build this evening. Your facilitators are myself, Martina, and we also have
Hey, this is Asia. Peace, y'all.
And Lanita.
right. So let's go ahead and jump into this. But before, let me back up a little bit. We want to give thanks to all of you here with us this evening, and also to the ancestors, the ones that paved the way for us to do this work that we're doing now. We also want to give a big shout out to the plancestors, our herbal allies, the ones that set the stage for our existence. We give thanks to you. All right. So before we start talking about these bronchial pathways and this green goodness, where are we calling in from tonight? Feel free to share in the chat or to unmute yourself. Let us know where you're calling from and what herb are you representing tonight. Don't be shy.
All right, y'all. I'm awake. I'm gonna tell y'all. I'm calling from Senegal, from Fatigue, Senegal, and I am sipping on some Moroccan mint tea with 2 hibiscus flowers in there. I am breathing good and feeling good, and it's 1 a.m. and we have a cold snap here. We are a whole 71 degrees, so I'm ready for this.
Oh, that's freezing. 71 degrees? That's cold.
Yes.
Poor baby.
How will you ever survive? Right. Mama Akua. Hello, Akua from Canada is joining us.
Whoop, whoop.
Sipping some clove tea.
Nice. Oh, close sounds good.
Right, Adrian, what's up? Hello. Welcome back again from Albany, Georgia. Sahat is in the house. Peace, brother. It's good
My
to see
man
you.
got some sativa.
Wait, hold up now. Wait a minute. Nigella sativa. It just reminds me, okay, I'm here going on rabbit holes, Lanita. That makes me think of you sipping that Nigella sativa. You got to tell them about that experience with the menthol crystals in Morocco.
Oh, yes. Oh,
Yeah.
that was awesome.
All right. Rahel, welcome from Canada. All right. I'm here in Vegas today. This is Asia, and I am not sipping on anything right now, but I am smelling on some peppermint essential oil right now. So
Mhm.
keeping those bronchial pathways open so we can breathe easier.
Well, peace, y'all. This is Martina, and I'm doing something very similar. For once, I'm not sipping on the Herbalist Lounge, but I'm sniffing. Uh, hold up before y'all start thinking things. I'm sniffing this pine resin that's in the air from burning pine resin. Oh my goodness, it's so divine. It's just one of my favorites. So yeah, that good old aromatherapy. Right. So
Nice.
let's get into it, y'all. We're here this
We
evening.
got
Oh,
Adrian. I'm sorry, we have Adrian from Albany, Georgia, joining us tonight. So
okay. Peace. Welcome.
just
Got
got
a
it
lot of people in the house
all.
tonight. It
Yeah,
looks like Canada's in the house too a little bit. Is that right? Am I
I'm
right?
telling.
Right, cool. Okay, y'all. So let's talk about these herbs. Let's talk about these respiratory herbs. Bronchial pathways. What comes to mind to breathe easy? What we thinking about right now? Aromatics. Mhm.
When I think about bronchial pathways, I think about coughing, congestion, mucus, all of that good stuff.
Mm, yes, got to keep it real. All of that, right? How can we
Mhm.
remedy that?
Mhm.
Sahat says life everlasting. Rahel
All on it.
lavender.
That's it.
Hmm. I want to hear a little bit about that life everlasting plant and lavender. Asia, we can go on in lavender for days, right?
You know them last two. That's my mom and me. So, but go ahead, Sahar. I'm gonna let you speak on it.
Hmm.
I got hip to Life Everlasting like 4 or 5 years ago. Um, like right before COVID, my mom had got real sick, and she had a lung infection, and I told her to get some Life Everlasting because like right before that, I had like a slight infection, and it cleared it up real quick. And she had been suffering for, I want to say, like 4 or 5 days. As soon as she got some, it cleared up within a couple of days.
How did she take it? Was she drinking it, smoking it?
She was drinking it. I had
Okay.
got some for her in a tea form.
Okay.
Nice. Thank you for sharing.
Yes, that will absolutely do it. So, the story that I've told like over the years in the Herbalist Lounge about my mom and her grandmother is that my mom, when she was younger, she had asthma. And so, breathing was not so easy, right? And so my great grandmother would tell my mom to go out and pick some Life Everlasting, and she would make a tea, and it would calm down all the wheezing and the difficulty in breathing. So, yeah, yes, that's an excellent one, Sahat.
Mhm. And
Nice.
it's also a plant that was used traditionally. It was smoked,
Mhm.
and the smoke helps to break up the congestion and loosen congestion in the bronchial pathways. So, but I didn't want to smoke it, but I wanted the benefit of it. So I made it into an incense. And I had a friend whose father had emphysema, and he tried the incense and he said it really helped to break up his congestion. So, we can use our plant allies in different ways. We can drink it. You don't like the way it tastes, you can roll it and smoke it, or you can make it into incense sticks. I made incense sticks out of it. So,
Rabbit tobacco, right, Lenita?
yeah,
Hmm.
in Texas, that's what they call it. Yeah, rabbit tobacco.
Yeah, that's some good incense. I can go ahead and vouch for that. I had some of
Mhm.
Lenita's incense. I know we're gonna write to it to smoke, Lenita. We had this discussion
Mhm.
briefly yesterday, but you are right on about smoke and being able to clear up the respiratory. or just a way in which we can receive different types of medicines. One thing I did yesterday, I told you guys that I've been collecting a lot of pine resin. I'm grateful because there's a lot of pine trees out here, specifically the longleaf pine here in Florida. There's tons of flat forests with pine trees. And they just, right now during this time of the year, they're just oozing and oozing out resin. So it's easy to collect the resin. And when you burn it on a piece of charcoal, it just really just opens up the pathways. You can just feel that resin coating. I know this might sound crazy, but it's very meditative. It's very relaxing. It's very grounding. For me, it's very spiritually healing and cleansing. And on a respiratory level, it's like I said, it's cleansing, but you can feel it literally, those volatile compounds and everything else just coating your lungs. It reminds me of like this picture you see in front of you. If you guys are able to see the visual, it feels literally like you're breathing in and your lungs are blooming with flowers because of the essence that comes in. So, definitely one of my favorite ways to receive medicines is through herbal smokes.
And that pine resin will do it. Woo!
Mm-hmm.
It's potent.
Absolutely. And that makes me think of the season that we're in. So while Anita's over there chilling in, wait, how cold is it, Lanita? One more time. Tell us one more time how cold it is.
It's 71 degrees.
Ooh. We
People wearing
had it
coats.
75 today, y'all. It was 75 today out here in Florida. Yeah, it was a little cool, but I have to appreciate when it does start to cool off. And we did dip and dabble into the 40s today, I have to say. We did get a little cooler earlier this week. And those evergreen trees are holding it down. And I know we're having this herbalist lounge right now. We're talking about the respiratory system. It's starting to get cooler in certain places, but you know, just going out when it does cool off, and there's nothing better than the smells, that evergreen scent, that cedar, pine, those trees that sustain throughout the winter months, and keep providing us medicine.
Mm-hmm. Juniper smells too. In that early morning dew, that juniper is really strong too.
Yes, indeed, juniper. Right. We had a couple of other people join us. Peace. Nakia from Louisiana, it's good to see you. And Sharonda. So Kia says, I enjoy frankincense like that as well. I can only imagine how opening it is being. Yes, frankincense. You gotta love frankincense too, right? Right. Feel free to chime in and put in the chat some of your favorite herbs when you think of respiratory health, y'all. We're building on respiratory herbs, allies for the respiratory system to breathe easy.
So something else too, while everybody's starting to list things, is just to talk about like some of the importance of breathing. Why is it important to breathe? Besides, obviously,
Oh, snap. Hold up. Wait a minute. You're right.
like obviously, to live, right? Because we do it, and we don't have to think about it. There is an actual word for it, but we don't have to think about it. But it helps with the gas exchange. So we are expelling the carbon dioxide and inhaling the oxygen, which helps to go through our like it goes through our lungs, right? It's being filtered, and then it's helping with our blood and the oxygen going around our body. So, when we lose breath and those bronchial pathways are clogged with mucus, then that gas exchange is not happening at an optimal level. So we're not eliminating as much of the waste back out of our nose and out of our lungs and out of our bodies. So yeah, so obviously homeostasis is not there because you're sick already, but it's just kind of like a compounding of that. So
And we're talking about, so far we've been talking about congestion and mucus and stuff. But Asia, when you said we have to breathe to live, there's also so many other reasons that breath is important too, because it helps with the electrolytes, it helps with the balances, the chemical balances within our body.
Mm.
And for people that meditate or practice yoga, breathing can be so important. Different breath work can be important. And then also, when you have children that have problems with calming, self regulating, calming themselves, breathing can be very beneficial. And using different herbs, essential oils, some of these smokes that we're talking about, using what's that thing you call, you put water in it and you oil and it smells, not a vaporizer, but kind of like a humidifier or even a vaporizer too. You can use it. Somebody else help me out here. But diffuser. Yes, that's it. It's a diffuser. Diffusers can help to regulate your mood. It can help to calm you down, especially if you have somebody having a panic attack, or again, like I said, just self-regulation. So, controlling the breath and working with the breath using different herbs and different scents to help get that going and keep you balanced, because it is an ion exchange, and we do have to have that breath regulated in order to keep our body in electrical balance.
I love that. So what y'all are saying is the breath is connecting us to life. Is that why we kind of call it like the breath of life? It's one with life. That what y'all just said was so poetic to me. Like literally, I'm imagining just, Asia, what you were talking about, that exchange as you inhale and exhale, you're allowing yourself to be connected to the natural world around you. You're inhaling different things to become one and benefit, and exhaling some of your essence as well, kind of merging with the environment. But when we become stagnant, or we're not able to make that exchange, we're not able to connect to that nature, and we're separating ourselves from that. So we use things like herbs and breath and techniques to be able to open ourselves back up to that life force energy around us. It's just, ooh, it sounds very invigorating.
absolutely. All right. Cool. All right. So some of these we have names already, but um,
Mm.
let's talk about some more to help herbs that will help help you breathe easy, and different techniques. So what was it? Was it last Sunday? Not this past Sunday, but the Sunday before last. I
Mhm.
wasn't breathing too well because something had jumped. Oh goodness. And when I'm not feeling well, I don't think straight. I got all the herbs, I got the whole arsenal downstairs, and I just like water. so so yeah, Martina and Lanita had to help me to brainstorm and get me back into balance. So let's talk about it. What are some of the techniques and herbs that y'all use?
Hey everybody.
Hi.
Peace.
I just want to chime in with I like respiratory herbs. They act quickly. I experimented with lobelia before, and because I was really just trying it out my very first time a few years ago, I didn't realize that I would get nauseous if I didn't use the right dosage. Um, but I tried lobelia to help because I have asthma. Um, that's one of the herbs that I don't use that much, but it was my first major introduction to like herbs for the respiratory system outside of peppermint that everybody know about.
Nakia, how did you use it?
I had the fresh, not fresh, excuse me, I had the dry herb. I
And you
made
made
a
a tea?
yeah, I used
Ah,
a teaspoon of it,
mhm,
and I ended up getting like the glycer right after. I found that that was best for me. It didn't irritate my stomach as well.
mhm. Good.
But yes, I love mint. Mint is really simple. You can find it anywhere, and you can use it for children. And usually, I mix my mint with mullein and other things, depending on what's going on, like how the breathing is. Is it a wet cough? Is it a dry cough? Or, like what's causing it?
Absolutely. Those are all great. One thing that I really love to use that's native to Florida and you find that's so abundant, because I like the fact that you said mint you can find everywhere, which is so true. We have mulberry trees out here, and mulberry leaf is a great respiratory herb. It's moistening, but it's also has an expectorant quality. So if you do have not mullein, mulberry trees, and the fruits are delicious, yes, but the leaves themselves also have make a nice tea. One leaf, because the mulberry leaves are pretty big. You can just take one leaf, tear it up, pour some warm hot water over it, and it makes a really good expectorant. That's moistening to the tissues as well.
I would never know that we have lots of mulberry trees in Louisiana too, with the long berries
Yep.
and really, really dark.
Mm-hmm. That's some good
But
stuff there. That the leaves themselves. Mm-hmm.
that reminds me of kind of like a herb here in Louisiana they use mostly in South Louisiana called maglia.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember the other technical name for it. I just remember the folk name for it. And it's a really bitter herb. And it's used for kind of in the same way.
You said it's a bitter herb.
Yeah, it's when I tasted it was nasty. It was really bitter.
When I
It
think
was
of
very
bitter,
bitter.
I think of like drying up. So sometimes if it's like a real mucusy situation going on, or like a lot of fluid, I tend to think of some of those bitter herbs to kind of help dry things out. And also something warming to get things moving too. But yeah, you know me, I'm gonna definitely go to my bitter. So thank you for bringing that into the cipher tonight. Yeah, that dark, that deep, bitter dryness, just sucking it all up for you. See?
And a couple of the things on the list here, the mint is drying, the eucalyptus is drying, the menthol. Whew, that'll do a whole lot. Menthol.
It sure will. We have one out here too called wild mallow. It's everywhere here in Florida. The Latin name is Malva neglecta, but it's everywhere out here. And you know how I feel about my mallow family plants. So yes, we have marshmallow root, but to be honest with you, there are far more native indigenous mallow family plants out here where I live than marshmallow root. Um, and wild mallow is one of those, super abundant, easy to prepare. Um, Similar to marshmallow root and leaf. All else fails, you can just get some okra. Get some nice slimy okra to get things slippery and soothing for you.
And hibiscus leaf also.
Hibiscus
Hibiscus
leaf.
is very mucilaginous, so if you need to get stuff moving, I think it was Nakia was saying, talking about whether it's a wet cough or a dry cough. And that's real important because people ask you, what herb should I take for this cough? Well, what kind of cough is it? If you're not getting anything up, you got a dry, hacking cough. You need to get that irritation down first, and then you need to loosen up whatever's in your chest to get it up. So if you got a nice, juicy, wet cough, you just need to get it out. So these are the different expectorant herbs you want to use.
Mhm. And it's interesting you mentioned that because I've been experimenting with hibiscus root. So I've been experimenting with all parts of the hibiscus flower. Um, I have the cranberry hibiscus, which don't produce that juicy calyx, that fleshy calyx of the hibiscus sabridifera variety,
Mm-hmm.
but the flowers themselves make a real jelly-like liquid. But the roots, because I wanted to experiment to see if the roots were as mucilaginous, and the roots kind of had more of a like astringent taste to it. It felt like it was slightly a little bit more drying, which was I wasn't used to that. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was expecting it to be more moistening, but every plant's different. It can be a lot of it could be the environment. Um, Lanita and I observed our hibiscus. We have different hibiscus species, different varieties, and we noticed even the leaf shapes were slightly different depending on different environmental factors, right? So,
Right.
working with your plants and feeling those energetics are really important so you can get that right balance intuitively for what you need.
I like hibiscus. Um, the way that it's made, like with the cinnamon and the clove and things. It's a really good and oranges and lemons. It's a really good tonic of itself. But I like to add hibiscus when I'm making stuff for my kids when they're sick because of that, because of the vitamin C, and because um even though it's kind of sour, it's still moistening. And I really like that. And plus the color of it makes stuff look like juice. We have a lot of hibiscus here. They sell it in Walmart now. The traditional medicinal teas. Um, and you can buy some of them with EBT. So if anybody get EBT, you can buy teas with that at some
You
stores.
know,
That's
Yay.
good.
you also can throw ginger in there too if you have, because the hibiscus with the ginger will help bring up that mucus. You add a little heat to it, and it's really good for getting stuff flowing there.
And if you want to have a more productive cough, throw some cayenne in there.
Woo,
Mm,
Lord.
We're
Did
gonna
somebody say cayenne?
burn that out in the front, in the beginning of the digestive system, at the bottom. That's a different herbal sound. Yeah.
Hi, Clarissa. Welcome.
So, Martina, tell us how we use the pine.
How do we use the pine? In so many ways. uh,
We talked about the resin. Yeah.
so one thing I love to do with pine, if you have access to it, is to tincture it fresh. Because pine, in addition to like a lot of evergreen trees are so abundant in those wonderfully aromatic volatile oils. So I rarely dry pine needles. I literally will take a mason jar to the pine forest with my bottle of spirits, okay, and put a handful of pine needles inside the mason jar with a high proof spirits to really preserve those volatile oils. If I'm making tea, I use another thing I like to do is just straight chew the pine needles right off of the tree. You can chew it a little bit. It gives you that tangy taste. Um, it has a really nice spectrum of antioxidants, not just vitamin C, but all kinds of antioxidants inside of pine. Super high spirits. I like to synergize pine with rose hips. It has a real nice it complements pine very well. So if you have something like floral, like rose hips, one of my favorites, which is also super high in flavonoids and vitamin C, It has a really nice energy, but tincturing it fresh is one of my favorite ways to utilize pine medicine, or just chewing it straight off of the tree. You also can get pine gum. Nice. You can add it to, you can infuse it in oils. I would try to make a nice long infusion, oil infusion with the resin. You can make salves out of it. It makes a nice topical remedy too for the chest, like our nice vapor rubs. So that's ways you can also use the medicine. But I find that the tincture really packs something really potent when you do the fresh pine needles. And then as soon as you put that tincture on the tongue, it just gets absorbed by the respiratory tract and feels like it just coats the respiratory tract with those volatile oils because it just moves quickly. So that's my personally one of my favorite ways to take it, in addition to burning the resin on charcoal.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Lanita.
No, I was just gonna talk about grandma down there with the puff and pass. Uh, what is how can smoke help with our respiratory?
Mm.
So, like the life everlasting, the way the Native Americans used it, they said that it was very good for loosening. If you have that dry cough, it's good for loosening the mucus in the lungs, and that smoke would help to bring it up. It would help you to come to a productive cough
Mm.
and get the mucus out of your chest. And there are other herbs too that you can to smoke, inhale the smoke, and it is medicinal in helping the break up the mucus and to give you a productive cough to get that mucus out of your chest.
Nice. Can we talk about the percussion?
Oh yeah, we can talk about that.
Yeah,
Percussion.
patty cake. Let me go ahead and put a beat on your chest and your back when you're congested. Get a little movement. So sometimes just herbs alone aren't enough. You need a little help, a little collaboration.
Yeah, with babies, in the medical field, we do cupping on the baby's back to help break up the congestion. For people who are sick too, um, who have congestion, pneumonia, what y'all was saying about breathing exercises, taking deep breaths really helps to expand the lungs. So even just the simple mechanics of how things supposed to work anyway, and movement can help herbs go a long way. So I want to say it because percussions and cupping, that's what we do a lot for babies. It's the most simplest thing. You don't have to buy anything.
I love that, especially for babies. Thank you for sharing that. Hmm.
It feels good on adults too, especially when your chest is tight. You know that percussion really makes you feel better.
Mhm.
So after Lanita told me about that last week, because I was like, what? Lanita was like, did you try percussion? I said, try what? So yes, we was making rap beats on my back. But what I would do is do like a breathing exercise at the same time. So like I would inhale really deep through my nose, like as much as I could, and hold my breath. Um, and then as I was exhaling, pushing out as much as I could through my mouth, then I would have the person like, percussion, make them beats on my back so that it was kind of loosening things up as I was breathing out. And it really helped to get a lot of mucus up and to like loosen up those pathways.
You really did master the technique in that one weekend, Asia.
Mhm.
I've literally been teaching my children that technique, and they know. Don't you start beating on mommy until I start exhaling. Oh, you did it too early. My oldest one knows mommy likes it at the very end. You got to get that last breath out. Get that air out all the way down to the navel, mommy. I'm like, yes.
Oh, Nakia had a question. So the life everlasting for me, I know that my mom, she's from Georgia, so it definitely was growing there in the Savannah area. Sahai, I'm not sure if I don't remember if you said you picked it or you got it, but not sure wherever else y'all was seeing life everlasting growing.
It's all over Texas. I mean, it's in
Oh, yes, yes.
northeast Texas, and it actually flourishes in the fall. As it starts to getting colder, that's when you want to use it when it's silver. You don't want to use it when it's fresh green. So I know it is big in Texas. Should be in Louisiana too. I think for sure y'all have it. I know they have it up if you're in. I'm not sure, Nakia, if you're north or south, but up in Shreveport area, I'm sure they have it.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm in the central Louisiana area, so I'm in between, South Louisiana, New Orleans, and Baton Rouge. I'm in between that and Shreveport. Each one of them about 3.5 hours away from me apart. So it's probably here. I put the
Yeah.
information down,
Mhm.
and when to pick it, and I'm gonna go look at our USDA database so I can go see where to find it around here because it might still be there since the weather teeter tottering between 40s and 75s and 77s, and
Mm.
it might still be around. Thank you.
Yes, definitely that time. Um, Asia, you had breathing exercises, and I just want to share one that it's a lifesaver for me, and that's alternate nostril breathing.
Hmm.
Um, Alternate nostril breathing, you hold one nostril like with your thumb and inhale through the other nostril. And then you release it, you hold the nostril you just breathe in with the ring finger, let go of the thumb, and exhale through the other nostril. So this is great if you have a stuffy nose, if your sinuses are real swollen, like with allergies. You do that alternate nostril breathing, and it will actually bring that inflammation out of your sinuses and your nasal passages. Um, Another good thing that this exercise does is it synchronizes the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous system. So if you are nervous, if you have anxiety, if you are lethargic, this brings you back to a steady state. And the place that I use it the most is on the airplane because when the airplane, I have really sensitive ears. Taking off and landings are painful to me. But with the alternate nostril breathing, it regulates the pressures in your ear. So that breathing exercise can be very useful in a lot of different situations.
Hmm. That also makes me just think of simple things again, such as like positioning your body, laying on your right side versus the left side. That really helps me in the past just open up different pathways. Like if my left side is stuffy, trying to turn in the bed, how I'm positioned, and just being mindful of the anatomy of the lungs. Like the right lung is larger, has the three lobes, and the left lung has the two lobes. And then like the right side is a little higher because it's the liver's below it. So just kind of being in tune with just simple anatomy of the body and how you feel and the way you're positioned can significantly help too. In addition to just like you said, Lanita, the breathing exercises and stuff.
Mhm.
Something else too, because I'm not sure if it was mentioned. I had to step away for a hot second. But like alternating hot and cold water in the shower. Yeah, because then that can help to tighten and release, tighten and release. So I think that's another thing that is helpful too.
Yeah, that's very stimulating to the lymphatic system, and it just makes us remember like how everything's connected. If our lungs are congested, what other parts of our body probably need a little bit of work as well, not just the respiratory, but like you said, Asia, the stimulation of the lymphatics. Maybe some diuretics can help. Maybe some blood circulatories can help. Maybe some rubefactions can help, depending on the situation of what's going on. So just kind of taking a whole body approach. Maybe beating some new music into your body might help. So feel me? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's the beautiful thing about these herbs, like basil, for example, which I have in this picture here. If you can see it, it's a great respiratory herb. Aesthetically, it can, warm things up. Has It's rich in volatile oils, so it can be very antiseptic and open up the passageways. But also it has an affinity to just the nervous system, help with circulation and can help with relaxation. And there's so many different types of basil, from holy basil, Thai basil. All of them are so good.
And don't forget our friend Rosemary. She's really good too. Just throw her in some boiling water and inhale that steam, and she gonna come through for you.
Yes. So do we have any recipes, any favorite recipes that we would like to share? Oh, Clarissa says, what's the difference between the different basil? Oh my goodness, it's just really a different balance of a synergistic chemical profile. I mean, feel free to chime in and add to it, but you have we've been talking about so many different types of basils, right? Um, all of them are pretty much very aromatic. I know I've been exploring camphor basil, which has more of a camphor tone and note to it. And then you have like sweet basil, aka culinary basil. And the one I have here is a hybrid basil, which is called African basil, which is a mix between the two. So you can kind of see those notes balancing in their chemical constitution, which also plays into their taste, and whatnot as well. Yes, and Tulsi is amazing. It has a beautiful adaptogenic and just tonic, just energy about it. It's delicious.
The You said Tulsi.
Yeah, the holy
Isn't
basil.
that the same? Is that holy basil? Okay, yeah. That's the one that they use a lot in India for respiratory problems.
Yeah.
Um, I have a question. I have a question about with using herbs that I remember Martina mentioned cayenne pepper to help get in there and pack a punch and be a good expectorant and get things moving. Um, I have a lot of prickly ash, and I ended up coming into it to use for my daughter with sickle cell. And so the more I started researching about it, I saw how warming it is. And so I do like to add prickly ash to some of my things. Like when I'm making just a little bit, I made it into a tincture. When I'm making something to help with breathing, I typically add a little prickly ash since I have that on hand if I don't always have ginger or other things because it's really warming um to the body and it's potent. I like the way it feels and make your whole body like tingle and can make your tongue tingle a little bit too.
That's a good one.
Anybody got a good hot toddy recipe? We talk about them hot toddies. It's cough and cold season. Hot toddies is good stuff.
Throw some rum in it.
Yeah.
Look, I always look, I like that. What is it? What some people would call the equivalent of Jamaica, or y'all already talked about the hibiscus, the cinnamon, the clove, and the ginger. I'll throw some apples in there. Usually they're red in color, don't matter which ones. And then I mean, I could throw some brown liquor in there, some rum or something, if I'm trying to, make things move faster. But usually that will be the base of the mixture that I will use, and I might add more stuff or less, but that's usually the main thing.
Well, alcohol is a great expectorant by itself. That's why all the cough syrups have alcohol in them. So that and my grandmother's recipe was what did she like? Brass monkey and honey, and that packed a punch. But I think there's some better recipes than that. I like yours, Asia. Yours sound like it tastes better.
It's a nice little punch. I forgot to say oranges too, but yeah.
Oh,
Clarissa is clapping for that brown liquor. Yeah, that brown liquor gets you right.
Wild turkey help. Good night.
Okay.
yeah, the hot toddy will knock you out, but it will definitely, especially if you have the flu and really feeling tired and weak, and then with the respiratory too, those brown liquors, the hot toddy will really help you get your rest, which you need, but also loosen up that mucus so that when you get up, you can start getting that mucus up out of your chest. Ooh.
Ooh, that was a pretty picture. You saw it? Oh, what about that good green rubbing alcohol? Yes, that is old school, Clarissa. I love that. Drink some local honey, water, and lemons together with some Vicks on the chest, right? Come on now. Hey.
Anybody still eat Vicks? They used to make the kids eat the Vicks.
Hmm.
Oh, ain't nobody that old. Okay, never mind.
No, but I know about it.
But I'm a testament. My grandmother would make me lick a little bit of it and swallow it.
Yep.
Thank you.
Look, we still alive. Look at that.
That's that kidling. Shoot.
That's that big ass.
Mhm. Sipping on that scissor, sipping on that Vicks helped. I didn't, but my grandma did. It's made different now. Right? For real. Probably ain't the same Vicks since way back then. I don't know. All right. Any other recipes outside of eating Vicks, which the
But
herbalist is not advising right now?
well, I mean, those menthol crystals too. That's a mixture of all the mints, but
Oh yeah.
yeah. So that could be a replacer for Vicks, and a little bit of eucalyptus that you can put on your chest, and under your nose. That can help to get some stuff flowing.
Mhm.
Well, we were in Morocco and they had some black seed and uh, eucalyptus crystals in there. Was that Martina? Menthol crystals?
Mhm.
Anyway, they just rubbed it in the hand and warmed it up. They had it like in a handkerchief and you smell it. Woo, that went straight to the brain. I mean, that you sniff that and whatever you had, it'll open it up.
I'm
So
still,
those
I'm
menthol.
still open from that time. I haven't had any congestion since. Let me just put that out there, okay? I took one on the left and one on the right. I started seeing a few things for a minute, but I haven't been congested since. Just putting it out there, okay? Ooh.
Okay, so there is credibility to you said you saw some, because I gave somebody some tea. I gave her some menthol one time, and she was like, I was hallucinating. I was like, girl, for real? Okay.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Menthol crystals, definitely. Menthol will do it for you.
I know here, I was introduced to camphor for the first time and I fell in love with it. I had somebody introduced me to the actual camphor bush. I was in Appaloosa and it
Mhm.
grows there natively. Do it
Mm-hmm.
grow natively or they plant it? I can't remember, but she had it in her yard. I'm stated. I don't want to lie. And it was really opening and refreshing. And they sell the camphor blocks at some drugstores, at some pharmacies, and I
Mhm.
really like the way it's strong, and it just open you up immediately. It's refreshing.
It
You
really is.
know, we used to sell camphor blocks, and during baseball season, we sold. I was like, "What are they doing with all this camphor?" They would take the camphor and put alcohol on it and put it in the drinks to keep the drinks cool because it sucked all the heat out of it. So they would do that, and then the players also would just come take a whiff of it while they were playing out there in the field. So it had dual purpose. But yeah, that camper block is multi-useful.
So here in Florida, it's actually considered invasive.
Mhm.
So when I was like, yo, this is camphor, y'all, it's invasive, let's use it up. It's saying, hey, baby, use me. Um, but yeah, it's definitely a great herb. It's a great tree out here. It's really, really big, has a nice canopy, but it's said to shade out the other plants. And one thing I found interesting of how one reason why it's considered invasive and doesn't play nice, outside of the fact that it has a big canopy and can block out a lot of the sun, is it also sucks up a lot of the moisture from the ground in the wetlands area,
Mhm.
taking from other plants. So just thinking about that energetic in its nature out here, and why not allow it to suck up some of that moisture and that congestion? See that doctor
Mhm.
signature right there? Just trying to tell you. If
Yep.
you're in Florida, camphor is the way to go. It's abundant out here, especially Central Florida. And mulberry leaves.
And speaking of water again, because I know we talked about some other stuff from the mallow family, and I'm trying to remember what was on that slide from the mallow family. Um,
Most
mm, oh, no.
marshmallow root. You
Oh,
had
there, yes,
marshmallow root
yes,
on
okay.
there.
Yes, yes. In addition to all the other mallow, the stuff in the mallow family, so the okras, the aloes, aloes, wherever you're from. Um, definitely, that can help to keep things moist too. So like if you're coughing and your throat is kind of sore, tired, it can help to, keep your throat a little less sore and dry, right? And if you're not having like a productive cough, then you can use those things to help to loosen that up and to kind of pull out that mucus as well, by eating it, using it in a tea. And also, like if there's other things going on in your digestive tract, it can help to break up some congestion so you can have a smoother bowel movement too. Because, I just really believe like if you're congested in one area, like what Martina was saying, then you could be congested in other areas. So you want to make sure all that is loosened up.
Moving. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Speaking of which, Asia, speaking of digestion and get things moving, there's been a lot of cases of pneumonia lately out here. And I learned not too long ago, pneumonia exits the body through the bowels. So when you have a sluggish liver and like you said, sluggish digestion, that can be one of the root causes to prolonging your prolonged respiratory ailment. So you're right on about that, making sure you stimulate the digestion and having those smooth moves and bowels. So keep them moves smooth.
Yeah, same. Lots of pneumonia out here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that makes sense, Martina, what you're saying, because I'm not, as I'm saying this, I really feel like a mom. because a lot of these things I'm experiencing more like with having babies because they do everything just so instinctively, so you can really see how stuff play out. But when little kids and babies are sick and they poop, I remember the first time I saw that with my first child, and I saw mucus in her stool. I was worried, and my grandma was like, "That's good, girl. She getting it out of her."
Yeah.
And I noticed that, like with my other kids too. And so that was one of the reasons that I kind of started. I would incorporate yellow dock sometimes. Well, I had that idea to start incorporating yellow dock with my oldest daughter because it breaks stuff up and it helps the bowels move. And I see it with myself too. We talking about poop. I like looking at poop to determine stuff.
Yeah. Get that poop out.
That's one of our favorite topics, actually.
Yeah. uh,
And the
and
area, the region in which it comes out of. Help. Go ahead, Lanita.
Ace was talking about the drying or moistening up. A lot of times with different, especially when you start taking medications for cough, cold, allergies, they dry you out too much. Um, they usually will recommend like a normal saline gel or normal saline spray, but I'm gonna give y'all the real secret tonight. The best thing to put in your nose is if you're a nursing mom or you have breast milk is number one. If you can't get breast milk, ghee. Ghee is the key to everything. And you put that ghee in your nose, it will moisten it back up. You know how in the winter times, if you have the heat on in the house, it really dries your nose out. You feel it cracking. Like ghee will loosen it up, but it still keeps your nose moist enough so that you don't get infections, so things don't stick to your nose. So the ghee is really good for moistening in those dry, irritated nose situations.
You just did a whole album. Ghee is the key. Dry eyeballs. Help me see. Let me be. Ghee is the key. Oh, Herbalist Lounge dropping EP next month, y'all. 2025.
Yeah. We got the beats, we got the percussion. We own it.
Juanita, drop that beat. Yeah, okay. No, but you're right about that because Lanita was the first one to tell me about ghee for the eyes for conditioning and moistening the eyes for strained eyes. And that makes sense. It's not gonna just be good for the tissues in the eye, but just overall the sinuses, the upper respiratory. So that's a good point. Good old breast milk. Nice. Hey y'all. If anybody else has anything to add, please feel free to do so. Um,
I do again.
Go right ahead. Go right ahead.
So I wanted to ask, like with mullein, I know it's like light and fluffy. So my thing when I use mullein, I feel like I probably put too much because when I put like just putting 2 teaspoons of it or something in an infusion, say I'm making like a pint or something, um, 'cause I'm usually making a lot when I'm using mullein, but I feel like I be putting too much. So when y'all use it, um. do y'all add it by eye? Like if you're not making something that's specific and call for, specific amounts of each herb, do you usually add your mullein by eye to your teas and infusions? Or what do y'all do? That makes sense. Just then.
Yeah, I'm a scientist, Nakia. I was a chemist first, pharmacist next, and I measure everything. I even measure when I cook, I measure everything. But that's not to say you have to do that because my other spice sisters here, they'll tell you how they do it. And, theirs comes out really good. So go ahead, tell Paula Martina.
I just take a leaf and tear it up. I promise you I was about to say that. And so he came here with the chemistry and the pharmacy and asking me how many centimeters are inside of an inch. And I'm like, I gotta go. I gotta go, y'all. Y'all tripping. And I teach mathematics, but it ain't time right now. As much as I love mathematics, ratios, proportions, and all that, and I can teach it all day. Let me tell you, what I do is, especially with mullein in those big, soft, fluffy leaves, I'll take one of them leaves and I'll tear it up. I'll sing a song, tear it up, put it in some warm, hot water, and let it soak. Usually, I do the hot water if I'm gonna soak it less. If I do room temperature water, I'm gonna let it soak like overnight. So, and that right there, as you know, is very potent. It goes a long way with that one leaf. Yeah, and that's how I usually use it.
And look, I'm a little bit of both, so it just depends on it depends on what I'm trying to do. If I'm trying to make something for somebody, then I'm gonna be more exact. If it's for like me and somebody in my house, somebody that I know, then I'm gonna use that method. That method that's like, okay, the ancestor says stop. All right, we good. Here we go.
How we do it.
All right. Well, pizza hot. Thank you. Right. Nice. Yeah. So we got a little bit on this side, a little bit on that, a little bit in the middle. So. Right. Anybody else?
And y'all also know that when you're working, when you're making things too for children, you want to, um, you know, use smaller amounts because they definitely don't need the amount that we do, and the herbs can be overwhelming for children if you use too much. So always, go light when you're working with children.
Since we were
And the
talking
elderly
about,
too.
yes, and
Elderly,
elderly,
definitely.
most definitely. And since we were talking about poop earlier, y'all got me thinking about elimination, different ways in which we can eliminate things. And I was thinking about like the percussion, the stimulation, getting things moving, the cyclic showers, the alternating the hot and the cold water, or the warm and the cold water, like Asia mentioned, getting that stimulation going. And then also sweat. Sweating is really good. So your diaphoretic herbs, and a great one is elderberry. Elderberry is a great respiratory herb, although a lot of people tend to put it in the category of like antiviral and an immune tonic, which is that too. But doctrine of signatures, if you look at those berries on those branches, what does it remind you of? Or what does it reminds me of? The lungs and the areoli. Um, but yeah, elderberry is a great herb for respiratory health. It can be very supportive, and it also can help you sweat to kind of bring things to the surface as well to help with elimination.
And the flowers are good too for allergies.
Mm-hmm.
You like that?
And drip, drip, nasal drip. So
Uh-huh.
and speaking of which, a lot of them deeper respiratory issues happen where start where.
Start in the nose.
Yes, ma'am. And I'm gonna tell you, especially
That
with little
post nasal
children.
drip.
Yes.
Mm.
So trying to prevent it, nip it in the bud, the neti pot, like you mentioned earlier, environmental factors. And good old garlic.
Goldenrod. Goldenrod's
Garlic,
good
y'all.
for post nasal drip.
Yeah. And I'm not even gonna lie, I use garlic a lot to nip things in the bud on the early onset. Garlic with honey. Eat something after a meal because it can hurt your stomach. Garlic is strong. All right, y'all. Yes, it
I
does.
think we didn't cover from the rooter to the tutor tonight.
The rooter to the tutor.
Mm.
So since we covered from the rooter to the tutor, now let me stop. It was not going to go in a good direction. We might have had to edit that on the YouTube channel. But yeah, does anybody have any upcoming events happening that they would like to share? Now is a great time. Feel free to share your information in the chat, your social media handles if you would like to. We really appreciate y'all ciphering with us this evening. All right. Asia, Lanita, do you guys have anything you would like to add?
I think we covered it all.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, if you haven't already done so, be sure to check out the Herbalist Lounge on YouTube. Subscribe. And yes, if you miss an Herbalist Lounge or you want to listen to it on the rewind, or if you want to share it with somebody, you can always find every Herbalist Lounge uploaded to our YouTube channel. Okay. And in addition to that, we also have other videos as well, such as the ones that you can see here of Beauty Berry Simple Syrup, or a rose facial treatment. Ooh, very divine. Yeah. Get it? Thank you. So make sure you subscribe and share it with some people, okay? Share it with some friends. We appreciate the love.
Thank you,
And
Nakia.
Word.
if you haven't before, y'all drop your what do you call that? Your social media handles in here so we can keep in touch.
Yeah.
I see some people have already put theirs in there. Appreciate that.
Also, the Herbalist Lounge, us three Spice Sisters, Lanita, Asia, and myself, we did a kitchen medicine making workshop. And you can actually purchase the recorded live virtual workshop, and it comes with workbooks. It's all on an online platform. If you're interested, you can purchase it at herbalist-lounge.thinkifit.com. On the We did some amazing things in that workshop, all from using kitchen medicine, kitchen herbs. We covered it all, y'all, right? Everything from mushroom broths to herbal popsicles, bitters, jellies, syrups, you name it. We did that. Okay. That.
Poultices.
Yeah, poultices. We did that. You want that. Check it out. Share it with a friend. It's a great gift for someone who's interested in wanting to get started or who already does stuff and just wants to spice it up a little bit more. Come spice it up with the three Spice Sisters. You heard? Yeah. All right. And last but not least, subscribe for our upcoming events. We can go ahead and throw that in there as well inside the chat. If you haven't already noticed, we have the link for the kitchen herbalism workshop is in there if you would like to look into that for purchase. Also, subscribe for our upcoming events so you get a reminder in your inbox for the Herbalist Lounge, not just our monthly ciphers, but also any upcoming events that we may have going on as well. Okay.
All right.
Thank you so much, Nakia. And we're so glad that you were able to synergize with us tonight. Come on now. You just added that extra spice tonight.
Mm-hmm.
It was so good to have you and everyone on here tonight. We really, really enjoyed it.
Clarissa, thank you for the emojis.
The brown liquor. Melissa always comes through to make us laugh. I love it.
You're welcome.
Right, y'all? Well, next Herbalist Lounge, remember it's every second Monday of the month, okay? And we're looking forward to building and ciphering with y'all in the Gregorian New Year. Broop, broop, right? Hey. So, peace, power, green blessings. I'm gonna pass it to my herbal spice sisters. Good night, y'all.
Hey, look, I'm gonna second what Clarissa is saying. Pew pew, pow pow, boom boom, bang bang, shoo shoo.
Oh, peace, y'all.
Peace.
Thank you.